Dave, can you see me now?
I got you just fine, Alex.
Terrific. So anyway, thanks for taking a little bit of your time to spend with me today in anticipation of this upcoming election. In preparing for this, I actually took a look at your background again and hadn't looked at it, and I discovered there's something else that you and I share in common besides being on the RNC. And I'll bet you don't know what that is. And that is that we have both been volunteer firefighters for more than 15 years.
Wow.
I did not know that about you before this call.
I didn't know that about you. I love that. It's one of the most important things that we do in our society today is make sure we give back to the local communities. And I did that for almost 20 years. And it was one of the great experiences of my life. If I wasn't an old, decrepit man, I would still be doing it today.
Well, I only just retired myself last year. So interesting. I was thinking about you also this weekend. I was talking to Pete Hegseth about some of the dystopia and dysfunction. And it made me laugh about our first interaction that had Pete as kind of our mutual friend there.
Right.
We don't have time to go into that today, but I was thinking about you. So let's just launch right into it. We all agree that November is critical for us. We have to win back the White House. So my question to you is, what do you see as the critical factors of success to get President Trump reelected this fall?
It's a great question, Alex. For those of you listening, I served as President Trump's deputy campaign manager in 2016. I served with Kellyanne Conway and Steve Bannon. The three of us led the campaign to victory. Obviously, we were a very small part of President Trump's winning strategy, but it was vital then, and it's vital today that we show the distinctions. President Trump's America First agenda is completely different than what we are seeing today under Joe Biden's carnage going across this great country, whether it is our open southern border, whether it is our economy that is in shambles, inflation, home prices, fuel prices, gas prices, you name it, grocery store prices. You cannot get ahead in Joe Biden's America. And then you look at our feckless foreign policy. Joe Biden's weakness across the globe is seen, and that is why the world is on fire. That is why we have a war in the Middle East that is raging out of control. That is why we have war in the Ukraine, because Putin didn't really care what Joe Biden. Putin doesn't even know if Joe Biden understands that the Russians are in Ukraine one day to the next. It is a tragedy what is going on across this country and across this world with Joe Biden's weak and ineffective leadership. And then that leads right into his cognitive decline. No one in America believes that Joe Biden's up to the job today, but they're asking in November for us to vote for him for another 4 years. Think about what Joe Biden is today, and then think fast forward 4.5 years when he would be finishing his second term. It is outrageous. He is not capable or up to the job today, mentally or physically, and he ought not to be the nominee. But we are going to defeat him in November, and that is when we send Joe Biden to the old folks' home and Donald Trump back to the White House where he belongs.
Thanks, David. I'm really excited about our opportunities. If we don't win this one, it's our fault. We have so much going for us in this election. So my next question to you is, what do you feel is the role of the RNC in this election cycle?
Alex, it's so important that we win. And the problem is that we're going to have to win by more than they cheat. I'll be honest with you, that we saw what happened in 2020. We cannot let it happen again. We have to vote early. We have to ballot harvest. We have to, where it's legal. We have to do all of the things that they did in 2020 and just barely were able to scrap together enough votes where they said they won and they said we lost. It is something that I was intimately involved in 2020 with President Trump in the recounts and all of the activity that went on post-election. It is something that we cannot allow to happen again. The RNC is vital in voter registration currently. It is vital in all of the lawsuits that are going on in state after state, dozens of lawsuits currently underway to make sure that that we in every state have a level playing field, that they are not going to count votes after election day, that they're going to ballot harvest only where legal, that we're going to keep Zuckerberg style money out of the elections, where Mark Zuckerberg's put $400 million in 2020 to help Joe Biden and defeat Donald Trump. People, we have to get a focus and a sole focus on that. And that's why, Alex, it really requires people like you and me to roll up our sleeves. We've done it before. We've done it over the last several years. We know where the problems are. We have to go and execute a plan. And that's what the RNC is. The RNC really lays down the highway, lays down the roadwork that President Trump is going to be able to drive on. And that's the most important thing. We have to register voters, and then we have to turn out the vote. We have to identify the voters, and then we have to turn out the vote. And so, Alex, in your amazing background in the military, you're as a civic leader, as a thought leader, and as a leader at the RNC, you're perfectly set to help us continue to make sure President Trump gets elected in November. And that is what I hope every single person listening to this right now is dedicated to. I know you are, and I can certainly say I am, in that I will do everything that I can in my power to make sure President Trump is elected, because America is on the verge of catastrophe. The carnage that I mentioned a moment ago is true. The American carnage that we're going to be in for, if Donald Trump does not turn this around, I don't know that we ever get it back. And I fear for my children and my grandchildren's futures. So we have to be dedicated to it. I know you are, Alex. I know I am. And I hope everybody listening will vote for you to make sure you return to help me over the next 4 years and do the tough job that's ahead of us.
Well, Dave, I appreciate the time you've taken with me today, and I look forward to seeing you in July. Take care.
Thanks very much. Good luck.